I was actually going to ask you that किसी भी तरीके से your experiences have created these narratives that you're bringing
Oh,
out for people.
the best thing I feel Gen Zs are jugadus.
Yeah.
They don't do everything by the book.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly my point.
I was in a live-in relationship for 6 years before I got married, and that is what we have sort of tried to put it in Lafangey.
Hypothetically, what kind of star cast would you cast, and if you had the chance, how would you remake it?
I derive my inspiration from films like Kai Poche, which makes you feel everything. बस कुछ नई बातें नहीं बोलना है, but जो बातें हैं उनको बहुत नई तरीके से बोलना है. So the treatment of it, we made it like a film.
Hey guys, this is Manjari Mukherjee, and you are watching me on Pop Diaries channel. I'm in conversation with a man who's known for his creativity. You know him, I know him. Why do we know him? Because I think he creates relatable, authentic stuff, series, subjects, which, by the way, let me tell you, is very rare because he does it youth centric. And I find him a rare genius in the world of all the directors and filmmakers out there. Yes, I'm talking about the one and only Prem Mistry. Very happy to have you on board
Thank you,
on
thank you so
Pop
much.
Diaries. And I have to tell you, this is not something that I'm making up, but I truly do think that there are very rare directors and filmmakers out there who are interested in टॉकिंग अबाउट यूथ सेंट्रिक सब्जेक्ट्स. मतलब ऑब्वियसली लोग बहुत सारी चीज़ों पे बनाते हैं, रिलेटेबल भी होता है, लेकिन कंप्लीटली यूथ को इस तरीके से समझना, इतना घोल कर उसको फील लेना और उस तरह से उसको रखना is something which is very rare. And you
Thank
have nailed it.
Thank you so much.
I have to say that I watched Lafangey, okay, and after I've watched Campus Diaries, loved Campus Diaries, okay, but after Lafangey, I have to tell you, there's this thinking that I have about you that you are a director. Are you consciously wanting to put out youth-centric ideas on screen for the audience?
So not exactly like I look out for youth-centric ideas, but that is something that genre really excites me. The first show that I had made, Immature, was also about it's a teenage rom-com, and it was not just limited to a rom-com. It also was talking about what the children of that age go through society-wise. Social media तभी नया नया आया था, तो क्या उनके दिमाग में ना, what impact does it have? What sort of excites them? What aspirations that they make of for themselves? So with every passing year, I feel I've also lived. I'm 30 right now, so I've very close to my teenage years compared to the other directors. So there are a lot of stories that I have that I want to say, and also एक दूसरा ये भी है कि whenever I see such youth content on the internet, they are mainly they are a little raunchy. Most of them are sex comedies. None of them are sort of talking about the youth, which is aspirational. Youth who really wants to do something, wants to go out there, not just party and not just make girlfriends and boyfriends, but also wants to make a career for themselves.
True,
तो
very true.
उसका representation काफी कम है, and that excites me a lot. Like I derive my inspiration from films like Kai Poche, which also used to talk about such things. So that is something which excites me, and and by God's grace, I feel those stories find me in our company with the set of writers. We tend to sort of formulate stories which trigger that aspect of the youth which has not been done by anyone else.
And I completely agree. I mean, with Lafangey also, I can tell you that the way how you have paced the whole thing, and it is very different from the other young adult shows that we have. Not just kind of, amidst, not just from you actually, from the previous thing, but also SAB normally in India itself. I think compared to that, Lafangey is a very fresh take on youth related issues, and everything. And I want to know, what was your idea about it while you were launching it?
So when the idea was written by my team and Abhishek, who's my partner in the company, we produced the show as well. We had gone to Amazon Mini TV MX, which is now Amazon MX, and they've also seen our previous work. We have worked with them closely on other projects as well. So they also understood the idea what we are trying to make. That we are not trying to make a fukre, where it's the youth is trying to earn money through various means, but we are trying to do something. As I mentioned, a kaipoche is there.
Yes.
Or 12th fail for that matter, where the youth is struggling, be it financially, be it emotionally, be it coming from backgrounds which does not have that many resources. So
Yeah.
उनकी कहानी हमको बतानी थी, एंड जो बाकी के भी यूथ शोज है जिसमें से काफी हमने ही बनाए, बीट मैच्योर और कैंपस डायरीज, उसमें द लेवल ऑफ कॉमेडी वाज a lot more, because we always feel comedy helps audience ease in the content
Yeah.
and then talk about the dramatic beats. But
Yeah.
with Lafangey, one big challenge that we had was, आजकल everyone wants quick stuff, you know, कि 30 seconds के reel में उनको ना सब कुछ मिल जाता है, तो and for most of it they go for comedy, they go for short format content more. So our conscious effort was to make this as a show which stays with you, which makes you feel everything. बस कुछ नई बातें नहीं बोलना है, पर जो बातें हैं उनको बहुत नई तरीके से बोलना है. So the treatment of it, we made it like a film. Every episode has like good 2-3 songs. We have beautiful montages. 95% of the shoot is happening on real time, real locations. So with Lafangey, the treatment was something that excited me कि इसको कुछ अलग treat करते हैं, इसको fresh treat करते हैं, because stories शायद नहीं नहीं हो, but जिस तरीके से उसे दर्शाया जाए, जिस तरीके से जनता को वो एक्सेप्ट करे, वो रिलेट करे, वो नए तरीका फिगर किया हमने.
Absolutely, I do agree with that, because I feel I mean, people tell me I am a Gen Z, but I come from a family background which is completely millennial in nature. So, matlab, either old school because of my mom, dad. So मैं पली बड़ी हूँ on old school movies, old school black and white movies देखी है मैंने जिया है वो पूरा सिनेमा जिया है मैंने, and my mom and dad love movies a lot. And then my sister, she's like a complete 90s kid and millennial, completely in nature. So I relate also, but then there are certain things that I completely do not relate. But what are those underrepresented subjects that you feel are still somewhere lost in translation while we are talking about the youth of
One major thing that I feel, so we also work closely with a lot of 19-year-olds who are like Gen Zs. In fact, in Lafangey, a lot of crew members were very young, first-time jobbers. In fact, interns for that matter.
Wow.
Not just because we wanted young people to be part of the team, but also they bring in fresher ideas, newer ideas.
Completely true.
And eventually हम बना रहे हैं, उन्हीं के लिए बना रहे हैं, not सिर्फ them, but a major portion of our audience is the people who are right now in college or just out of college. तो उनको चाहिए कि चीजें फास्ट हो in every sense, not just viewing content, but even life for that matter. That's where you see careers like influencers are taking off, content creators are doing great. People don't want to do conventional stuff, they want to do unconventional stuff, and thankfully parents lately are also more open about it.
Yeah.
So if I have to talk about things which are sort of not covered yet, something where people wanting to do unconventional stuff and how parents support it, rather than हमने हमेशा ये देखा ना कि parents always want children to do conventional stuff like engineer बनो या doctor बनो, but आजकल के जो parents भी है जो शायद मेरे age के है या फिर ना 40s में, who also at one point of time wanted to do something new for that particular age, तो वो angle जो एक how a parent and the children come together to do something unconventional is what I think which is not yet made. Also, one more very important thing which was talked about in Adolescence, the show, Netflix show, where because right now there's so much of information so readily available to you, आपको समझ में नहीं आता कि किस चीज पर भरोसा करना है या फिर किस चीज को अपना मॉरल्स बनाना है लाइफ में. एंड व्हेन समवन इज ग्रोइंग अप, माइंड बहुत ही फ्रेजाइल होता है. दे लुक फॉर हीरोज टू गेट इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम, दे लुक अप टू पीपल जिसके बेसिस पे उन लोग अपनी लाइफ आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. तो उस सेंस में शायद अगर उनको अपने हीरोज मिलते नहीं उनके रियल लाइफ में, जैसे मेरे लिए माय फादर इज माय हीरो, बट नॉट फॉर एवरीवन दैट माइट बी द केस. So they go onto the internet to look for heroes, and that's when you stumble upon some great people as well as some very random people who have very strong opinions, might not be good. So how the current generation of, let's say, people who are in their 14 to 19, 20, when they are sort of developing their brain up, getting ready for the real world, उस दौरान finding your heroes, finding people to get inspired from is a big challenge, and that is something I feel which is still not yet done in a great manner in the country, and would want to sort of explore that.
I agree. When I ask, because just like you, in my company also there are a set of Gen Z people only, and I'm handling those Gen Z. It's a little tough decoding how they work and everything, but yeah, kind of ho jata hai phir. But they bring in a lot of fresher perspective, which I don't think I have otherwise. So yeah, that is a very good point with having that kind of a workforce, and they are more fast.
Yeah, so they're more creative, they're more fast, The best thing I feel, Gen Zs are jugadus.
Yeah.
They don't do everything by the book.
True.
They tend to sort of experiment, explore, because again हमारे पास तो by the book ही थी, जाना बस book ही थी, but अभी internet आ चुका है, so one prompt and they'll find zillion ways to do one particular task.
Exactly my point. Obviously, but मुझे थोड़ा बोलना भी पड़ेगा कि सब कुछ AI नहीं होता.
नहीं, but AI यूज करने के लिए भी बहुत दिमाग चाहिए. So
exactly.
I feel that's
वो
where
भी at the end of the day हमने ही बनाया है.
yes, totally.
So of course I do agree. But I have to know between long format and short format as a filmmaker. How do you think the generation is looking forward towards that trends?
So see, idea is storytelling. ठीक है, अभी आपको स्टोरी कहनी है, शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट में कहो, लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट में कहो, पर अच्छे से कहना जरूरी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट है सब कुछ हिट होता है, ऐसा नहीं जो लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट है सब कुछ हिट होता है या फ्लॉप होता है. सो इट्स ऑलवेज अबाउट इवन लाइक नॉट जस्ट जेंसी बट एनी ऑडियंस फॉर दैट मैटर, catching their attention and making sure that they are entertained. भले उनको रुलाओ, हंसाओ, जो भी करो, but they should feel something. And उस वजह से स्टोरी टेलिंग डजंट चेंज. हाँ, भले फॉर्मेट बदलता है, बट द वे यू आर ट्राइंग टू से अ पर्टिकुलर थिंग, ड्यूरेशन बदलता है उसका, बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि मेरे को बोलना क्या है. अगर मुझे पता है मुझे क्या बोलना है, फिर कैसे बोलना तो सेकंड लेवल फिगर हो ही जाता है. But still, I feel lately I've seen a lot of shows which are 1 2 minute episodes on
yes,
Instagram and
yeah.
stuff like that. Sahi hai yaar, if see, at the end of the day, we are into entertainment business. We have to entertain people. वो शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट हो या लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट हो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आज से 20 साल पहले, आज से 10 साल पहले ओटीटीज नहीं थे, तो तभी हम सब टीवी देखते थे या फिर फिल्में देखते थे. तो ओटीटी भी जब भी आया तभी भी ये वाली कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई थी ना, विल द टीवी सफर और विल सिनेमा सफर. बट आई फील नन ऑफ देम सफर्ड. एवरीवन फाइंड्स देयर ऑडियंस, बिकॉज़ द ऑडियंस, सो मेनी पीपल इन द कंट्री टू वॉच थिंग्स. सबको केटर करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ बनाया जाता है, कुछ ना कुछ फॉर्मेट में बनाया जाता है. बट टॉकिंग अबाउट the short format, long format, genres भी बहुत मैटर करते हैं. Like a comedy is, I feel short format and comedy works the most. But if you have to go for drama or thrillers where build-up is required, where a certain amount of time needs to be given, that's where a long format comes into picture. So I feel at the end of the day, stories कहनी है, genre specific होता है, तब जाकर short format, long format मैटर करता है.
You will make one thriller. I love thrillers.
I mean, for long format, yes, I would love to. I'm a big fan of thrillers myself.
You should.
But short format, I don't know
because
हाँ, short format पता ही नहीं, अभी किया ही नहीं, कभी शायद कभी करे तो never know.
Try. नहीं, but short format maybe I've seen short films, which are like very thrilling. They leave you at a point where you're like, oh my god, something is gonna happen. Spine tingling build up होता है.
That's just great storytelling.
Exactly, but I really like it. I love it a lot. Short format thrillers also kind of gives me that thrill sometimes. But they are obviously depends who's making them and who's saying it. But yeah, of course. But when you're making these young adult shows, there is this perspective in people's mind, which I find is something which is very much present in Indian audience, and that is key. You can somehow corrupt, or somehow you can talk about things which shouldn't be informed to young minds, and somehow they can be influenced about those kind of things. How do you tackle that kind of criticism?
So see, every thing that is made for screen is somewhere down the line inspired from real life events. ठीक है. It is up to the audience to also understand कि यार अब जैसे there's been a big debate every time कि cigarette smoking देखकर लोग influence होते हैं. ठीक है. I agree. It's also important in which light you show them in. Like for example, in Campus Diaries, there was a track where we talked about addiction to marijuana.
Yes.
And over there, we never glorified it. By the end of it, we made sure that someone who's extensively smoking is eventually going to not be in a great mental state. It's going to give them anxiety. It's going to have physical health repercussions and everything. So idea is to not glorify, but not showing is also not a good thing, because again, we are then shying away from the real image of what the society is. So as filmmakers, we do have the responsibility to make sure that whatever we are trying to say, we say it with the integrity, and make sure that at no point a wrong message goes forward, because again, youth is very easily influenced, and at no point we would want to be responsible for sort of putting out something wrong and putting out something which we don't believe in. Like I'm 100% sure no one in this world is like, "Arey cigarette peena bahut badhiya cheez hai." even people
Very
who are
true.
smoking,
They know.
they regret taking the decision, but they're trying to get out of it. So no one is wanting to sort of promote anything bad or illegal, but at the same time, there's a responsibility that we show the other side of it as well. Like
Absolutely.
in Lafangey itself, the show is about skilled youth wanting to figure out life, earn money, earn respect, set up a family of their own. And considering the scenario of the country where the unemployment is at its peak, people tend to resort to things which are illegal or sort of not that accepted by the society. And one of the tracks is Chaitanya's track where he enters into the world of cricket betting and gambling. So we did show him getting that money and getting that circle in the start, but how that same thing bites you back is also required to
Exactly.
be shown, which we did. And that's what people relate to. And eventually we get comments like, "भाई कुछ भी हो जाए, पैसों से ज़्यादा इज्जत प्यारी है, पैसों से ज़्यादा चैन की नींद प्यारी है." So
True, true, very
messaging
true.
and at what point you leave the audience with is important. Rather than shying away, show it with utmost integrity and make sure that the right messaging sort of lands.
I think that is why people kind of trust you with young adult
Maybe,
topics.
yeah. That's been a very conscious decision because again, while growing up, we also had our share of experiences with,
Absolutely.
let's say romance or let's say addiction, and we all have sort of some or the other way gotten over it. So we would want the same things that we have learned
Yeah.
to be as learnings for the people who are sort of going through that phase of life.
I was actually going to ask you that किसी भी तरीके से your experiences have created these narratives that you're bringing
Oh,
out for people.
so many, not just mine, the entire writers team or even the people we work with, even the people we talk to. Like you know uh, like I was in a live-in relationship for 6 years before I got married. But
Wow.
there were trials and tribulations of that particular phase, and that is what we have sort of tried to put it in Lafangey. And also in Campus Diaries, I was like a big part of the political scenario of the college. कॉलेज पॉलिटिक्स जो होती है जिसमें कल्चरल सेक्रेटरी की जगह होती है, हॉस्टल सेक्रेटरी की जगह होती है. सो वहाँ की लर्निंग्स है, वहाँ के चीजें टू डू नॉट टू डू चीजें जो फिगर हुई है, उससे बहुत सारी चीजें इन्फ्लुएंस होती है. नॉट जस्ट while telling stories, I mean not just while writing, because filmmaking is writing plus making sure the pre-prod mein whatever the visualization is close to real. You have to set the pitch and the tone right of that particular content. So in every aspect of filmmaking, we try to derive inspiration from our lives so as to make it as real as possible and as believable and convincing as possible.
Wow, that's a lot of thinking and a lot of pressure also.
Yeah, एक शो बनने में नहीं तो कम से कम 2 से 2.5 साल चले जाते हैं.
Exactly.
So,
That's
yeah.
a lot of effort. And I'm so happy that it pays off at the end of the day, because the kind of shows that you're making, even Lafangey now, getting so much of good reviews, so much of good, it's getting a lot of love out there from the right kind of people, from your very target audience as well.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge kind of success for you.
Thank you
For
so
putting
much.
in all so much of effort. No
you.
wonder there is so much of effort behind it, and that is why it's getting so much of success. So thank you, kudos to you.
Thank you so
But
much.
before I leave you, I want to know, as someone who's so, you know, to get, I mean, so someone who's so closely attached to young adult fiction, what is that one favorite show of yours? Not yours, not your own, somebody else's favorite show, and you would love to, maybe if you get a chance, hypothetically, what kind of star cast would you cast, and if you had the chance, how would you remake it?
There's this show called Adolescence. Obviously, I love Adolescence,
Yes,
and
I know, I've
one of
seen it.
my recent favorites. And I
Yes.
think that show, not just because it's a hit, but it talks about the right things, should be adapted in every language in every country to make sure that youth se pehle, the children who are still in high school
Yeah.
know a right thing going forward. So Adolescence is something that I would love to sort of make in India, and not just the craft of it, but जो चीजें उन लोग बोलना चाहते हैं और जिस जिस फिनेस से उन्होंने वो चीजें बोली है, that is commendable, and I would want to sort of do it, and with a very fresh cast. Maybe cast R Madhavan for the father's part. I love him, and get a
Love
very
him as
fresh
well.
cast for the
Same here.
for the child, because even for the audience, the audience should not have any preconceived notions about the lead actor. So they should
Exactly.
watch him like a neighbor's kid and be with him, feel for him, cry for him, and that's something that I would really want to sort of, if gotten a chance.
Wow, I got excited about the Madhavan part only. I mean, he's the all-time, all-generation hero for me.
That's
So
true.
it's
That's
like
true.
he's the hero for
Yeah.
me.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe Amir Khan, because Amir Khan sort of does a lot of
Yes.
work in this space where he wants
Yeah.
to sort of entertain plus educate
Hmm.
people, and he would be a perfect candidate to sort of play the father's part in the same show.
Yeah, that would be nice. Good casting already. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
Prem, for being on Pop Diaries and sharing so much of wisdom with me. I didn't know so much. इतना ज़्यादा जाता है even to create a young adult. I mean, when you look at these kind of shows, you think that this is so relatable है. अपने ही उस experiences से drop करके बनानी होगा. But the way how you said it, and I realized that no, there's a lot that goes into making these kind of shows, and a lot of thinking, the right way of thinking, and the integrity to show these kind of topics very beautifully and responsibly, because at the end of the day you are educating the future of India.
Yes,
So
yes.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for your shows. Thank you so much for Lafangey and Campus Diaries, one of my favorite shows actually, guys. So keep watching Prem Mistry. And what will you do? You will like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click on that bell icon. Definitely don't forget to comment and let me know what you loved about his shows. And this was Manjari Mukherjee only on Pop Diaries. Bye.